I'm about to teach you how to make the softest sourdough cinnamon rolls that are not tangy, they're not too sweet, they're the perfect amount of sweetness, tons of cinnamon flavor, and actually once you do it the first time, you'll realize how simple and easy this recipe is. I have included all of the details in the recipe post, so it might look long, but I have included every tip in there to make sure that when you make sourdough cinnamon rolls for the first time, it will be a success. This recipe has been tested by almost 400 sourdough bakers from across the world, so you know it's a winner. Can't wait to come out with more variations, but join along and I will take you through how to make these sourdough cinnamon rolls. They're so soft, they're gooey in the middle. They stay soft for days thanks to the tangzhong in the dough, which if you've never made one, it's so easy. I'll show you how to do that, but yeah, I can't wait any longer. I gotta go eat this. Okay, bye. We will start by creating our stiff sweet starter. To make that, we need 25 grams of a healthy sourdough starter. You can use one that's at peak for the best results or one that's just deflated. 25 grams of sugar or honey if you prefer, 50 grams of warm water, and 100 grams of bread flour. The reason we're going out of our way to create this stiff sweet starter versus just using a liquid one is because it really helps cut down on the sour or tangy flavors in the final cinnamon rolls. The combination of the sugar and the lower hydration is like a 1-2 punch that really slows down the growth and reproduction of lactic acid and acetic acid, both of which are responsible for those sour or tangy flavors. So when we do both sugar and lower hydration, we're basically throwing all of the tricks that we have at this to make sure that our cinnamon rolls don't taste sour. This starter can take 10 to 16 hours to peak, so put it in a warm place and we'll check it in the morning. Here we are the next morning to make our tangzhong. We need 175 grams of whole milk. I never seem to measure accurately. And 35 grams of flour. I'm gonna whisk these together, and I like making the tangzhong in the microwave. All you have to do is whisk it, microwave for 30 seconds, whisk it, microwave for 30 seconds, and just keep doing that. It takes 3 to 5 rounds or until the tangzhong reaches 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This is another secret weapon to getting really soft cinnamon rolls. So to our stand mixer bowl, we're gonna add all of our peaked stiff sweet starter, all of our tangzhong, make sure it's cooled down fully to room temperature, or you might scramble your egg. I've done it. 80 grams of whole milk. From the fridge is fine. 100 grams of cool water. I just use water right from my tap. We have a well. If you have city water, you might want to use filtered water. 1 egg, also from the fridge, is fine. 25 grams of sugar or honey if you prefer. 5 grams of vanilla extract, and I like to make my own. I'll put the recipe in the description. 3 to 5 grams of cinnamon, or about a teaspoon. 515 grams of bread flour, and 12 grams of sea salt. We'll mix these ingredients together in our stand mixer on a low speed just until everything is combined and the dough is very shaggy. This usually takes 3 to 5 minutes. At that point, we will increase the speed of our stand mixer to a medium or a medium-low. On the KitchenAid, don't go higher than speed 2. And we'll keep mixing this until our dough starts to smooth out. The surface of the dough will go from having texture to being very smooth like you see here in this clip. Then we're gonna add our unsalted butter. It's probably best to do this like 1 tablespoon at a time. In the uni stand mixer, it's pretty powerful, so I find that I can do all the butter at once, but in a KitchenAid, 1 tablespoon at a time is definitely the way to go. You can also use a spatula or periodically stop the machine to help incorporate the butter a little bit better. The reason we go out of our way to delay the butter is butter inhibits gluten development, so we want to develop as much gluten as we can before adding the butter. Then we'll transfer our super smooth cinnamon roll dough to an oiled glass mixing bowl. I like this 2-quart one from Anchor Hawking. I'll put the link in the description below if you need one. And we'll put this in a warm place for the bulk fermentation. We want the dough to increase in size by about 30% or so. I forgot to film it, but once it looks like this, we'll stick it in the fridge till evening. Here we are at evening time. We need a stick and 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 16 grams of cinnamon, and yes, I know it's a lot, it's about 2 tablespoons, and 175 grams of brown sugar. Mix all of this together until you have a smooth paste. If it's not a smooth paste and you feel like it's not spreadable, soften it in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds. Flour your work surface really well. Don't be afraid to use more flour than you would with like an artisan loaf, because we really don't want our cinnamon roll dough to stick, especially as we roll it out and cut out our strips and everything. So we're gonna put our cold dough on top of our floured surface and then flour the top and start using a rolling pin to stretch this out. I have made these cinnamon rolls so many times, and I've found that the ones that looked the best were the ones where I didn't fuss too much about like the dimensions of it. I also found that to be true when reading through the recipe tester responses. A lot of recipe testers got confused about what's the width and what's the height, and then they ended up with like uneven strips. It's really not that serious. We just want to roll out the dough so it's nice and thin, about 1/4 of an inch high. And we want each cinnamon roll ideally to be about 1.5 to 2 inches wide. So with that in mind, we want the width of our cinnamon roll rectangle here, or from left to right, to be between 18 to 24 inches wide. But seriously, do not stress it, okay? It's not that serious. We're making homemade cinnamon rolls with love. They don't have to be perfect. Spread on your cinnamon roll filling, leaving an inch gap at the top, and then we're gonna cut our strips out. I like cutting it in half, cutting those halves in half, and then doing 3 strips per quarter. That way you get 12 even strips without having to get out your ruler and fussing about it. That just takes the joy out of the process for me. Let's just keep it simple. Then you can roll up your strips. I like this method a lot better than doing the log and like getting out the dental floss or cutting them with your bench scraper and then they get all squished. This was so much fun, and I feel like they turned out prettier. On the tops, if that 1 inch strip isn't sticking very well, you can use some heavy cream or milk to just brush it on there and help it stick so that it doesn't have like little sides that are popping off. There, I was fixing one that was not sticking so well. We're gonna cover these up and let them proof overnight in a relatively cool space. Don't put them in a proofer or anything. Like 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Then we're going to do 85 grams of half and half. That's about 3 ounces. This really softens the cinnamon rolls and helps get a nice caramelized, like gooey bottom. Definitely an essential step. Single cream for those across the pond is perfect. We'll bake these at 350 for about 30 minutes, and there you have it. Our cinnamon rolls are baked. They've been cooling on the counter for about an hour or so. I am ready to make our cream cheese icing. It's so beautiful. It's 30 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or until the internal temperature is around 195. 200 is also. Okay, for the cream cheese icing, this does make a lot of icing, I will say, but I did a bunch of polls and asked everybody their feelings about the quantity of icing, and most people said they don't feel that there's usually enough. So this is a lot. 57% of recipe testers, I believe, said that it was the perfect amount. But there was like 20-some% that wished there was like 1/4 less, and then a much smaller amount that wished that there was about half less. So you know yourself, if you're like, I like icing, but I don't want it drowning in icing, go ahead and reduce the cream cheese icing recipe by about 1/4. So 170 grams of softened cream cheese, 28 grams of softened butter. If you do unsalted butter, then we're gonna add a pinch of salt, or you can just use salted butter and skip the pinch of salt. Either one is fine. Yeah, I need a smaller container for salt, I know. I bought the bulk one and didn't really think about it. All right, just a little, whoop, that's it. Okay, about 5 grams of vanilla extract, or 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, or about 3 grams. I had to buy this massive jar because of all the cinnamon recipes I've been doing. I was going broke buying the little Publix ones. So here we go, big old Kroger. All right, that's it for this part. We're gonna go ahead and whisk this together. I find just using a hand whisk is fine, but if your butter or cream cheese isn't completely softened, you might have to use a hand mixer. I kind of whack it on the side of the bowl so that the bits stuck in the middle get out. But to me, I don't want to get out a whole thing if I don't need to. This would definitely go faster if you used a hand mixer, but the whisk works just fine too. We need 250 grams total. If you want to, you can sift your powdered sugar. That's technically the way you should do it. I can't be bothered personally. Also, you can do half at a time. It's another technical way to do it, but I also can't be bothered. So if you want perfect cream cheese icing, throw in those little extra steps. This smells so good. I love the addition of the cinnamon in the icing. I feel like it just adds that like when you bite into the cinnamon roll, you immediately get the cinnamon and then it just keeps going. But some recipe testers didn't like the brown look of the icing. And if that's you and you want more of a classic bright white icing, just omit the cinnamon and you'll have a beautiful icing that is completely white. If you have any children around, hand them the whisk. All right, so here are my warm cinnamon rolls, the beautiful icing. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. All right, we're just gonna dollop it on top. I tried like piping it. Honestly, just spreading it on with a spatula is the easiest. And I like the look that it gives. It looks handmade. It looks like you made it with love. The piping, it can look prettier, but this is a more spreadable icing versus a thicker frosting. So it just doesn't work that great in a piping bag. It's more frustrating than anything to me. Like I said, this is a lot of icing, so if you don't like so much, reduce the recipe, or you can put some on the side for the people that prefer a little extra. Also, this icing freezes wonderfully. I tested freezing these cinnamon rolls, and the icing, you just put it in a Ziploc bag and thaw it on the counter overnight. And the next day, you can just trim off a little corner of the Ziploc bag and kind of pipe it out. It's really handy. Got to make sure everybody has a good amount of icing. I could do this forever. Getting it just right. Just that one little corner. There we go. Okay. There they are. Sourdough cinnamon rolls that are super soft, not tangy, not too sweet, very cinnamony, bake ready in the morning. What else could you ask for? Me, nothing. Which one? Gosh. Oh my. All right. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to come over there. Okay, you ready for this? Stop. Holy smokes. It is so pull apart delicious. It's so soft. Oh my God. It's so good. It's squishy, it's soft. It's so delicious. It's sweet, but not punch you in the face sweet, you know? Oh my gosh. Gooey in the middle, and the bottoms are almost caramelized because of that half and half that we poured in before baking. That helps keep them soft and moist, but it also gives you this really gooey bottom that is just to die for. I'm a mess. Oh my. This side is the maple pecan glaze. This side is the cream cheese icing. To me, this one all the way. This to me is perfection. I don't love this one as much, but if you don't like cream cheese, really delicious. The one thing I would say is I prepped the glaze beforehand and then warmed it and added it later. I do not recommend that. The glaze doesn't reheat very well. It kind of gets clumpy when it's reheated. So I suggest baking your cinnamon rolls, then making the glaze and adding it fresh. Like, don't let it cool down. You need to add it as soon as you make it to the top of the cinnamon rolls for it to really glaze on top of them and give you that maple pecan, like, oh gosh, it's just so good. It's so good. Yeah, it smells heavenly. But classic cream cheese icing all the way for me. Let me know in the comments which one you're planning to try. Found these little single serve boxes on Amazon that are really great for giving away, like single cinnamon rolls. I package these up and send them with my kids to school, and they give them to their teachers helpers. My husband sometimes stops by our doctor's office and gives them to that crew. But yeah, these are great for gifting. They do only fit one though. Honestly, when I bought them, I thought it would fit 4. And I was like, those aren't as big as I was expecting, but it's turned out great because giving one away has been so handy. Anyway, I hope you tried these sourdough cinnamon rolls. They were tested to death by almost 400 sourdough recipe testers from across the globe. This is the most positive recipe testing review I have ever gotten. Most people love these and plan to make them over and over again, which makes me so excited. This base dough is awesome. So you can expect to see some variations on different things you can do with cinnamon rolls, different flavor profiles, especially seasonal ones. I can't wait to do like a pumpkin spice latte version. Forget it. But anyway, thank you so much for following along, and happy baking.